Hey, what's going on? And thank you to anybody taking the time to watch this video today. I'm a passenger on a ride, and today I wanted to take a few minutes to discuss growth and the many ways that it can kind of present itself in our life. The point of really what I'm going to be trying to get at today, I guess I'll just kind of put out as a thesis statement now. Growth isn't always linear, and within that, sometimes, certain areas of growth can look like regression to us. And if you look at it as if it is a regression and kind of get stuck in that, it's easy to kind of stay in a negative state and not be able to recognize the growth within yourself. Really, all it takes is a good change of perspective with most things like that to kind of see how what may look like regression at that time is actually progress in a way. Just to give a little bit of an example, when I was a younger child, I was never a very super social person. I was often rejected and bullied at younger ages and through school and stuff, so I just really never got to be the social butterfly that I wanted to be. And this kind of expanded after I got out of high school and got into a place and around people where it was just kind of better and let me flourish within it. And I became an extremely, almost overly social person. And I really, at that time, that was growth to me, and that was obvious to be seen. But over a period of time, I kind of have gone through different things and chilled out quite a bit. And I find myself to be a lot less social at this point in time. And when I've thought about that a lot over the past couple of years, that I have been a little bit less social, I've kind of automatically gone into the state of thinking of it as if it was some sort of regression, and then I'm like regressed to a state in which I'm less confident or less able to talk to people in general. But what I've really come to notice over time by changing my perspective on it is recognizing that my lack of social outtake at this point in time is really growth. Just because I'm a little bit less social naturally than I was at that point in time doesn't mean that it was regression in any manner, really. I recognized that a lot of the reason that I was being so social at the time was because of this need for attention that I had never gotten. And kind of a lot of the way that I was behaving and being overly social was very performative in nature. And, at a certain point, I realized that I didn't want to be that person anymore. Maybe I had just gotten the attention that I had always needed and realized that I no longer wanted to live a life like that. But looking back on all of that, I'm finally able to see that what I've thought was regression for a long period of time and kind of got down on myself for was really just growth in a manner that isn't linear. It's, my social life has kind of gone up and down. My ability, not even necessarily ability, but my desire to be social has just gone up and down, and that's kind of the nature of it all. I mean, if you really want to look at it, my girlfriend made a good example for me, speaking to me not that long ago about this whole thing, that growth is kind of like a spiral. And if you're just looking at it from a two-dimensional angle, it just kind of looks like it's going outwards in this manner and just growing bigger and bigger, but doing the same thing over and over again. But if you just change your perspective and decide to look at it from a three-dimensional angle, you can see that that spiral is actually going up. And even though it might be taking a long time to get each one of those turns in, it is just a spiral of constantly going up. And I really did kind of like the way that she metaphorized that. And I think it's a good perspective to take in a lot of situations where you might feel that you have regressed in some sort of way but have grown in a lot of different other areas. Another example that I can make that's not as personal but just something that I've seen in a lot of other people is there's a lot of people obviously out there that have not done a whole lot to feed their inner child in a long time, or have some sort of peace within themselves that is hurt from their childhood that they have never really healed. And I found that a lot of people, when going through that, end up becoming almost more childish, but not really as childish as childlike in kind of a positive light, where they're just letting themselves be more enamored by things that maybe a child would. But a lot of people might see that as a regression, but that's really just growth in a manner, and learning to accept that, you've got a piece of yourself that might be unhealed, or that you just kind of need to cater to that joyful childlike sense within you because you've let the world kind of get to you. But that's really all I've got to talk about for today. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to watch again. This one was a little bit more disorganized, but just kind of wanted to share a couple ideas around that. And I'll be doing this every day going forward, as I've said in the last videos that I've made. Don't know exactly how long I'll be doing it every day, but this is kind of a push for myself to try to do something that I'm not really the most comfortable with, which is just being behind camera and making content in general. So any of you guys that hopped on early, I really, again, appreciate you guys taking the time to watch. Like, subscribe, share with your friends if you've enjoyed or this has had any sort of positive impact on you. I really hope it has. And you guys have a beautiful rest of your day. Thanks.